Hey guys, it's Ruben and Russ Johns. And today we are going to do one of Dubb's first jam sessions. And jam sessions are really an effort to showcase our heroes and our power users. In this case, a wizard. So we've got Russ Johns. If you guys know him from the Pirate broadcast, russjohns.com. He is a true Dubb power user, and we have learned a lot from Russ about Dubb and how to use Dubb and really leverage the technology to build relationships, to drive revenue, to really kind of succeed in business overall. So a lot of great feedback we received from Russ on developing the whole kind of Dubb ecosystem and platform. He has an agency, he's a consultant, he's a strategist, he's a coach, he's a lot of things, but at the end of the day, he's a wizard. So Russ, I wanted to take some time to understand how you're using Dubb.
Well, Ruben, thanks for the intro. I'm honored to be here, and as you know, I'm a huge fan of Dubb, and I love the opportunity to share anything that I can with the end users, new users that are curious about Dubb and what is really taking place with Dubb, because it's one of those technologies that it doesn't have to get in the way of building a relationship. The true meaning of business is how do we create engagement? How do we create a conversation? Because social media, all of the things out there that we're doing to grab attention is really about how do we start a conversation? How do we engage in a conversation? How do we maneuver through this thing? And I think Ruben, we've had this conversation, and it's about the idea that we can actually remove the technology from the equation and then put this relationship in the front of the conversation, and make sure that we're building a relationship, we're developing the relationship, we're actually making a difference in the end user, adding value. Because when we add value, we can't run out of abundance. Like we have the opportunity to create some. And it doesn't matter if there's other people doing what you're doing. If you add the value and you're in the front of the train here, people are going to notice you. And right now it's a noisy world. So be creating that wow factor or the differentiator for yourself, like doing these kinds of events. This jam session is a perfect example of setting yourself apart from what other people are doing. And the fact that we're teaching other people on these technologies and these platforms. And it's not about the technology as much as about the philosophy and the technology.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are, and you've probably seen this in your career as well, is the ones that come back and return. It's all based on relationships. It's like, we're not trying to be commodities. We're trying to build, some authority in the market. So let's continue to build authority in the market with our influence and our knowledge, and as we continue to share it. So would you agree with that? I mean, is that your experience?
I 100% agree with what you're saying. I have always said that, technology is just the pipes. It's just something on the back end. It's an enabler, but really, at the end of the day, it's about the relationships that we build based on the stories that we deliver and the value that we provide, because business obviously is about long-term relationships. It does not matter what sector you're in. It doesn't matter if you have a product or a service, recurring revenue, or one-off. That doesn't matter. It's about the relationships, because those relationships drive repeat business, referrals, testimonials, and overall sort of brand lift. So one of the things that we think about at Dubb is how can we empower people to do exactly those things, to build better relationships, to tell better stories, more authentic, honest stories, and then to provide more value to people. And I think you're a great example of that. So I'd be really curious to kind of see how you use the tool. Share as much as you'd like to. We understand if you have some trade secrets or if you want to give it all away, that's cool too. But whatever you're comfortable with, we'd love to get into a screen share and really get into that philosophy that you were talking about.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about that, and I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to actually engage in the idea behind it, and then also we'll talk about a little bit about the technology behind it, because it's twofold, and it's really about the idea that we can actually generate a conversation from an action, right? And that's what's Dubb is such a great opportunity to start a conversation. When you send out a Dubb video and you actually send it out, it's really simple to get a response back and have people actually respond to that conversation, because it's different, it's like, wow, you took the time to create a video, send it off, and it doesn't take that much time. I mean, I'm not a fast typer, keyboard operator here. Like, okay, I could shoot a video and create a quick message and send it off to somebody using Dubb, compared to what I would do if I were to type it out. So I really encourage people to really think about how they're operating and how they're building their build up with this. And I'm going to share this screen. Let me open up a couple of tabs, because I want to set the tone here, because I'm really, and I got to set this up, and I got to put it.
Yeah, well, I mean, set that up, get that prepared, and I'll kind of share some of the general.
Walk through a couple of ideas there.
Yeah, I'll kind of share a couple of bits on the architecture. So, what we had a vision at Dubb was to really enable people to do the following things. So the first is to be able to create videos, right? And when we say create videos, we don't mean creating commercials or creating big productions. That's not what we mean. What we mean is asynchronous bits of information that we can record on the fly, pieces of video that are frankly easier to record than writing an email or sending a text message, or even hosting a live webinar, or trying to meet a person for a coffee or to deliver a demo. The vision was always, how can we, in an asynchronous fashion, take a little bit of time, capture a video, whether it's from a webcam, whether it's from a screen, whether it's from a phone, and then deliver that over the channels that we're already using, like Gmail, like LinkedIn, like CRMs. And then as a result of that effort, to get responses back, to build the relationships, to build trust, to streamline comm, to get people to like us, to know, like, and trust us eventually. And then from that, of course, comes business. So we always say that Dubb is really a conversion-focused video communication platform, which is a very jargon, too verbose way of saying Dubb helps build better relationships. So when you're ready, I'd love to kind of see some of the ways that you're using Dubb. I know that you use it for your podcast. I know that you use it for sales, for calendar booking. I know there's probably a couple other things I don't know, but I'd love to get into that with you.
And what I'm doing right now is I'm going to log into LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, cool. And then just for people to understand how Dubb integrates with LinkedIn, Dubb has a LinkedIn extension. So if you go and grab the Dubb Chrome extension, the shortcut to that, I'll actually just type it on the screen here, but it's dubb.co/Chrome. So I'm just going to drop that here real quick. And what that'll allow you to do is to send personalized messages through LinkedIn to people. So this is through comments, this is through messages, this is through Recruiter, this is through Sales Navigator. So there's 4 to 5 very deep integrations into LinkedIn. And then please keep in mind that all of those require that you get the Dubb Chrome extension. Without the Dubb Chrome extension, it will not work. What we do is it's a overlay that occurs onto LinkedIn, and then that activates the Dubb icon to be able to be clicked. And then once you click that, you can access your library, you can record new videos, so on and so forth. So make sure you get the Dubb Chrome extension to get access to that LinkedIn kind of video comm.
And I had this all set up, except I hid all my, I went full screen. So it's like, God, I'm setting it up again.
No worries. Take your time. Yeah. I always, whenever I go full
the reality, Ruben, is the fact that if I can go in on my connections on LinkedIn and I can actually fire up a Dubb extension in Chrome, leave a message. Like when somebody connects with me, I can actually create a personalized video, not and you can create template videos but when you create a personalized video, the response rate that I get is incredible. And that starts the dialogue. And here's the philosophy you need to follow is don't promote anything. Ask a question, ask for, how you can help someone, and leave it at that. Don't, allow the conversation to take place. You're not selling anything. You're not promoting anything. And I even get frustrated sometimes, Ruben, when people say, hey, here's a little bit more about what I do, on the first response. And it's like, I don't really want to do that, because it's really about, I want to know a little bit more about the individual on a personal level. Because there's a lot of people doing the same thing. And I want to work with somebody that I have a thread of, a relationship with, or a conversation around, or I know what they're doing, or I believe that they're worthy of, it's like, do I like this person? Do I know this person? Do I trust this person? And it goes back to know, like, and trust. And and that's the beauty of Dubb, is because it's so simple. It's so easy to be able to start that conversation with video.
Love that, man. This is an example here of someone that actually sent me a Dubb video. I love to get Dubb videos for people. I always respond to them. Most of the time I send a Dubb video back to people just because it's just cool, right? But anyways, this is an example of Peter Preston. I hope he's okay with me sharing this. He's a public figure. He's got a podcast. He probably is. So anyways, like, he sends me a little pitch video, and you can tell he's getting started. And I really appreciate that. He's getting started with the podcast. He's getting started with video comm like this. But he sends me a video here and then basically invites me to his podcast. And then my response, little expletive in here. And, I say, hey, I'm in, man. So how do I turn that down? So I think what happens is, when I saw him, when I connected with him on a visual basis, I got to know him. I entered his world. And then how do I say no to that? Empathy, compassion, curiosity, all that stuff kicked in. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to be a guest on his podcast. Maybe I'm the first guest, or maybe I'm not. I don't know. But anyways, that's how I see other people using Dubb. Curious to see how you use it. I'm going to remove this now.
Yeah, let me share my screen now.
Okay, cool.
And I'll share my screen, and then I'll go up here. So this is a friend of mine, an acquaintance. And this is Tony Harris. She's a networker. She's a power networker in Houston, and she's done some great work. She's actually doing some more work, and she, sent me a message, said, hey, connected on LinkedIn. She saw the Pirate broadcast. She saw that I was doing some things and wanted to pitch in. It's like, hey, when you're in Houston next time, come and see me. I want to sit down. So I sent her a Dubb video, and I said, hey, let's have a conversation. Here's a date, And with Dubb, you can actually put a calendar date in there. So we actually booked a date. We had lunch. We grabbed lunch. And then I followed up with her today and had this conversation. And, I shot her video. Hey, just follow up Friday. I just wanted to check in. I was thinking about you. I wanted to make sure that you're doing okay. And, there were some things that we had talked about that I included in the video. And it's just personalized. And it's the opportunity to actually have a conversation without having to be in the same room, time, or space. And one other thing that I think is really incredibly powerful is when you start using Dubb and people are used to having you use Dubb, booking a time and booking a schedule is easy, because you could send it off, put your booking tool in there, whether it be Calendly or whatever tool you use. And then allow yourself, you don't have to think about it. It syncs with your schedule. You book a time, it shows up on your calendar, and you're done. So removing that back and forth is so powerful. So that's an example of using Dubb for an interaction, a follow-up, booking an event, having a in-person conversation and then following up again with the thing that you have an opportunity to, it's a conversation. Only, it's like, I don't have to set up a Zoom call. I don't have to set up a phone call. I don't have to do anything like that. And the other thing that I really, really love is after the fact, Ruben, I'm starting to implement this as well, is that with clients that I've already dealt with or something that I achieve value or send it out, you send out that little video response, and people could just respond in a video. They just turn on their phone or they turn on their camera and they just respond in video as well.
Now, let me ask you a quick question on that. Sorry to
Sure.
interrupt there.
No worries.
So that feature was as in the beginning, it was a throwaway feature because someone asked for it. And I said, really? Or will people actually respond back in a video? Because it's one thing to empower people and to really give them the confidence and the comfort to do the videos. It takes time. I mean, I see it all the time. I always tell people, shoot your first 100 videos, throw them all away, and then just get started. It's like stand up. I'm not a stand-up comedian, but someone told me that. So there's like an analogy there. Yeah. But what I was going to say was, I realized I've been pleasantly kind of surprised that people actually use that, and they're like, "Oh, cool! I actually want to respond back with a video," and it's kind of working. And initially, just so you know, another piece of context is that we initially created it for testimonial capturing. That was the use case. I remember it now. Mm-hmm. And then now it's evolved to be a little bit more of a kind of a real-time back and forth. So I'm really curious to see what your take on this is.
I've used it in both situations. And, now that I've been doing the pirate broadcast for a while, what I'm doing is as a strategy, and this is something you can implement, anyone that has a podcast or you're putting out content on a regular basis, is that, especially on LinkedIn is an incredibly powerful tool for conversations. And a lot of people, misunderstand it. And it's not as limited as people imagine. Is that if you have somebody on your podcast, and you've been on a lot of podcasts, and people have been on your podcast, Ruben, and then all of a sudden you go back and say, you give them a recommendation in their LinkedIn profile, and you say, hey, Ruben was awesome to be on the pirate broadcast, and I really loved him, loved his energy, a great strategy, and a great mentor to a lot of people. And then I give you a recommendation, right? So that pops up in your profile. Has nothing to do with Dubb or any other platform or technology at all. It's just leaving a recommendation or an endorsement, right? And then they come back, and then you send them a video, and you say, hey, Ruben, I would really love it if you'd leave me a video testimonial that I can use for my business.
Yeah.
And for a speaker, author, coach, or somebody that really relies on the authority and the validity in their marketplace, it's incredibly powerful. And you can take that video and you can push that over to your website, and you can say, then all of a sudden, hey, this is Russ. I really love the fact that Ruben's doing some great work here, and he's imagining a new platform to help speakers, authors, coaches in growing their business and business relationships. And that way, it's not about the technology. You're not highlighting the technology and saying, wow, how cool am I? It's just the fact that you have a video now that you can actually place somewhere in your ecosystem that allows others to see what they're talking about. And it's not you saying anything. It's not you saying, hey, look how great I am. It's just saying, hey, here's what others have said about me, or here's an experience somebody else had. And so just the opportunity to do that is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's hard to get yourself to write a text email sometimes, because you want to articulate your thoughts. You want to put something down that's meaningful. You want to go edit it a bunch of times. If you're like me, a little bit of OCD, I like to make sure that everything is quote unquote perfect in the things that I type, especially if it's something that kind of represents someone else or myself, in the form of a testimonial or something like this. I don't get that when I do video. When I record a video, it's much more casual. I'm speaking off the cuff. I'm improv. I'll do one take, and 98% of the time I'll feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And I don't mind if that's on the internet, just because I've leaned into that whole idea of video is
Own it.
ubiquitous,
Own it.
and but text, on the other hand, I'm very careful about. So if someone were to ask me, can I get a testimonial, I would actually prefer to give a video one versus a text one. And it's, first of all, it's easier for me to do that. But second of all, it's much more valuable for the other person to have a video testimonial, because guess what? When you get a video testimonial, it's also a text testimonial. You just have to transcribe it, and you can use that video testimonial in an ad, on a homepage, as part of a larger production. This right here on my screen is how you actually use the video replay function. A lot of people do not know how to use this. So go to your calls to action.
Can you walk us through it, or is it just I mean, I've used it and I know how to use it, but for this jam session, it would be really interesting to see how, if you're using it differently than I am, because I just put a call to action button and I just say video reply.
That's it. No, that's it.
Put it in there.
Yeah. No, that's it.
So
it's super simple. So it's an additional call to action, and it's the video replay option. So if you see here, there's a lot of different types of CTAs. There's email, URL, phone number, chat, calendar,
and
video,
you know what?
and document products.
You know what? For you today, it's free 99.
And if you buy one squeegee, you're going to get two.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah.
But you must buy.
I'm amazed at I'm amazed by the reactions I get from using Dubb. So that's one use case. Okay. So responding, getting some information back, having a conversation when you're not, because we're all busy. I'm not going to say, hey, I'm so busy. It's like, we're all busy. We're just making choices about how we're spending our time. Right. So if you can shoot a video, send it off, they book when they can, when they'll check it out when they can. And here's the beauty of it, is that I've got it synchronized with Slack. So let me bring this up. I'll share my screen again.
Nice.
So I got it synchronized with Slack. So when I get a reaction from somebody, I get to see what the reaction is in the video before. So I don't have to go off to Dubb.com to look at my account. I could just go right here in Slack and see what's going on, and then respond accordingly. So it's incredibly powerful, and it's visual, it's immediate. It gives me an opportunity to see, okay, what's the reaction? And it tells me, did they watch 1% of my video? Did they watch 10% of my video? Did they watch it twice? Did they watch it 100%? And I'm surprised. Some people open these things 5 and 10 times. And so I don't know if that's your experience or not, but I mean, there's some people who are really watching this.
Well, okay, so here's the deal on that. So we don't do unique views, because if someone's opening it and legitimately watching this 10 times, we want our users to know that.
Yeah.
But here's what happens a lot of the times. Number one is that every time you open up your email, you might accidentally go to the same email or the most recent email, in which case, if it's the video, or I should say the email with the Dubb video, then it's going to trigger as a view. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, a lot of the times what we've noticed, our data shows this, is that when people receive a Dubb video, they forward it. They're like, hey, video, interesting. Haven't seen this before. This is cool. We should use this.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that social effort. Now, we always recommend that people embrace that and make their videos social. Realize that once you send your video to someone via email or Gmail or LinkedIn or whatever, that's now a shareable asset, and use that to your advantage, because they might be sending it with another decision maker, a gatekeeper, a boss, someone that can write checks. And if you're in sales, you want to get that in the company. You want to get that kind of social selling. So that's really cool that you monitor that. A lot of people don't know about our Slack integration.
I'm in Slack all day. So that's, I got clients that are on Slack. I got partners that are on Slack. I run also mastermind groups. So, people, I coach people as well. So it's one of those places that I hang out, and having the opportunity to just see reactions when I send things out it's a powerful tool. And it's just, It's simple. It keeps it simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. So I really enjoy and appreciate that element in the whole equation, because it's really about removing the things that you don't have to think about every time. And when you build systems, as you know, when you're building a system that allows you the opportunity to remove some of the decision-making process from the equation, it's always better. So I also want to take and drop this idea in here, because with the Pirate broadcast, I use Dubb to book my guests, and I'm booking in April right now, Ruben. So, and I'm doing a show 5 days a week. And you know what it's like to, book and schedule and organize people into getting, all that put together, and having a little bit of organization around it. But not only that but I'm also here. Where's Ruben's podcast here? The thing that you can do is you could use the same automation to actually, I take this Dubb, I communicate with the guests, I make it simple. They can book a time, they're on the show, I send them a link, and then I usually follow up with the Dubb video. And then I also, I create a podcast the same day. The team creates a podcast, and then the transcription all goes up. So every one of these is part of the Dubb ecosystem to book time. And if you're booking business and you're having an opportunity to highlight and get visible, video is the most powerful tool you can use. So now all of a sudden I got the whole, I got a blog post, I got a transcription, I got a video, I got audio, and all of these things are part of the equation. And this would not be possible, Ruben, without Dubb. Dubb was the thing that was the tipping point on this, because like I said, I was broadcasting and streaming audio and live games to radio stations years ago. And I wanted this whole ecosystem. I wanted to bring it together. And once I saw how Dubb was able to help me do that, it just launched it. It blew my mind. And it's like, okay, I know what I need to do now. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. And I want to do it for other people. And I know that I've got the systems built out and everything else. And it's all because of Dubb. I mean, it's all because of Dubb. So, when you're able to create content from a single source and multiplex that, and multi-stream it out to different platforms. We're streaming right now to YouTube, Facebook, and where else are we streaming to?
Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And so all of a sudden you have an ecosystem where you're showing up. We're not spending, 4 shows to get that out there. We're spending 1 show to go to four locations. And being able to book in advance, organize that schedule. And that's what Dubb allows you to do. So it's not about the technology. It's about the philosophy of how can I use the tools to remove the crap that I don't need to deal with and automate that and put systems in place. And it's available. It's available for us, sign up to Dubb. And, it's like, I'm an avid user. I swear, it's like this, and I get excited about technology, but I was really excited about with the way I could use Dubb, and it's just amazing. So, well, thanks for saying that, man. Thank you for saying that. That means a lot to us. It really does, man. It's the feedback like this that's really made Dubb what it is. So please keep providing that to us, and I promise we'll continue to upgrade and to invest into the ecosystem. And rising tide raises all boats. So I want to get into a new feature, actually, and a specific problem that we're looking to solve. Okay. So we've received a lot of feedback on the fact that people want to personalize, people want to customize, they want to put branding, they want to put colors, they want to put, they want to make it their own. And one of our kind of secrets to our success is that we iterate very quickly, right? We and the technology team, me and the technology team, we make it a point. We have a very aggressive roadmap for our product and our development and our upgrades. And we try to stay on a track where everything that we do, it prioritizes with helping people to succeed. That's just our mantra. Like, is this going to help people succeed, or is it a nice to have? Is it a bell or a whistle, right? Mm-hmm. And templatizing emails has become increasingly more desired from our users. So we went back and forth from a technology perspective, from a UX perspective, on really how to make this as cool as it could be, or at least how it should be. And we finally landed on something that I'm really proud of, which is the new, it's really a marketplace, or at least it's a library of templates that we're going to continue to build upon that people can use. Now, these email templates can be used for the campaign sender. This is when you broadcast video emails, you can now brand them with the template. So that's the first use case. And then Russ, you actually asked a really great question, which is about pasting a template into an existing email system, right? So you probably use something or use multiple things to send outbound email messages. So if this is the case where you are not using Dubb as an email sender, but rather as an email content generation tool, what you can do is you can take one of the templates and then you can actually paste that into Gmail, MailChimp, Constant Contact, any CRM you want. This is universally compatible because it's simple HTML code. So that is a great example of a use case that we actually did not think of, because in order to do that, you have to preview it, and then on the preview page you have to copy the code here, and then this code here then can be pasted into an email system. Now, I'm not going to use Gmail right now because it seems like it's a little bit slow, but this code, once you copy and paste, it'll paste very nicely into any email system. So what I will have in the future to accommodate your need is I'll have a third button here that says copy to clipboard. And that's just going to copy the HTML code, and then people can use it. So that's really cool. That's great feedback.
Well, that's the same thing that happens when you, in your Chrome extension in LinkedIn, is that when you create the video and you record the video from the message, it copies to your clipboard.
Yes.
Ready. So, which is brilliant, by the way. I love the fact that you can do that. And just an inside fact is Dubb is the only platform that I've discovered that can actually, from my phone, insert a video response in a comment in LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
Secret sauce there. And not everybody gets it or understands it.
Very few people do that.
Very, very few people do that. However, that was the blow my mind moment. Really. Yeah.
I need to do a better job to evangelize that. I have to admit, I don't evangelize features like that. It goes back to what you were talking about. It's a philosophy, man. This is just technology. It's the creativity that gives us the ideas on how to use technology. And now it's bigger than what we thought it would ever be. And the use cases are much broader than we thought that they would be. Just to kind of give you a really quick side note, Dubb started out not for business people, not for salespeople, not for marketers. That's not how it started. The origin story of Dubb, or at least version 2.0 of it, was really for job seekers. So it's people that were looking for jobs as like a pitch tool. And then we quickly realized that, well, if these people don't have a job, maybe they're not ready to pay for a service. And they're probably going to find a job because they invest, or at least they use tech.
Yeah.
Which means they don't have any money and they're gone. They're out within 2 months or something. So
the churn was too much.
Yeah. And I don't think we got a single customer on that model. But we went back to the drawing board. We didn't give up. And then we discovered, now it seems so obvious, but we discovered that, sales, marketers, relationship builders, people like you, people like me, have a great use case for it. And as long as we're willing to invest into ourselves, that it's a tool that can help us.
Well, this jam session is a perfect example. And I applaud you. And I'm humbled by the fact that I was invited here. And because I really think that, the curiosity of what is possible and looking at the possibility and saying, well, what if? And then all of a sudden we're doing something different. And it's like, once you get that feedback as a developer or a founder of a company, that is gold, because that's the stuff that is really going to grow the platform and the solution in the direction you need it to go, because that's what's adding the value to the community, right? So the more frequently you can do these jam sessions, and the more feedback you can receive Q&A wise, let's cultivate this, because I want to see Dubb succeed. I want to see Dubb grow, and I want to be part of the ecosystem, because I could very easily see you actually taking those templates and allowing Dubb users to drop those in there, much like loops or tracks in a music platform, right? Or photography, stock photos. It's like have stock email platforms, and so you're a contributor to the Dubb ecosystem for your email templates, and
wow, that's really cool. Like that's a true marketplace. Yeah. We've got 12 templates right now, and I think they look cool. I really do. We mixed it up. I can't wait to show people.
Well, I love your UI.
Oh,
I love your style. I love your design. So
yeah,
it's clean, it's efficient, it's effective.
Thank you. Here's another interesting thing about use cases. So this was a comment. There you are, Russ, right on our. By the way, this is our Facebook group. So our Facebook group, if you have a business and you don't, or if you're a freelancer or a solopreneur, whatever, and you don't have a Facebook group, we encourage you to create one immediately.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on. Facebook is completely pushing into groups and video, but really groups is where they're bringing people together, because they realize that people are just getting frustrated with cat videos, mom videos, sister videos, family stuff where it's not necessarily opt-in. It's just these people that you connected with a decade ago, and now you got to see, every birthday that their kid goes to. It's made me not want to post to my social network. I don't really post anymore to my personal Facebook page, because I don't want to. It's almost like those people are my captive audience, Whereas in my profile page and the business page and the Facebook group, I feel really empowered to, because it's opt-in. People can opt out. They can unsubscribe without hurting our feelings. And it's just a connection of like-minded people. So please, if you do want to get some engagement on social, go get your own Facebook group. By the way, I've done a little bit of math, and it's a 10 to 15x increase on engagement versus your business Facebook page or your personal profile page. It's a 10 to 15x engagement. So,
well, they're self-qualifying too.
Yeah, exactly. They are totally. So anyways, this is really interesting. Let's see if I can zoom in here. I don't know if this is going to affect, it probably won't, but, oh, there it goes. Okay, cool. So this is Michelle Garrison. Michelle, hopefully you're okay with me posting this. I kind of assume that if people put posts on social networks, they're okay with us showcasing it. So, privacy is dead.
That's my assumption. It's like my life is not private. I'm an open book. Ask me anything.
Yeah, exactly. So let me just kind of read this here. So I'd love to embed a Dubb CTA button on our website to get testimonials. Is this possible? I can't find where to do it on the landing page builder in Dubb either. The page is created. Now the button isn't working. Advice, workarounds. And what my response was to this was, and I'll just read it here. Create a new Dubb video asking for a video testimonial. So, hey, it's Michelle. I'd love to get a testimonial from you. And then add that URL as a CTA to another video. And then take that video and then embed it on your homepage. So let me just kind of reiterate that a little bit. So you have a video that you're going to embed on your homepage. So you have a video or 3 on your website, russjohns.com.
Yep.
One of the calls to action of that video can be leave video testimonial. Okay. That button on that embedded video simply goes to another Dubb video. Okay. And then that Dubb video has the video reply option on it. Okay. Yeah. And they can click that video reply button on it on the bottom, and then the webcam is going to open. It'll It'll work from their phone. It'll work from desktop. And then you can capture that video testimonial. So imagine on your website, if you have, dubb.com/testimonials, that's a real page for us.
Mhm.
We don't have this yet. And I think Michelle really inspired this. But what I'd love to do on the bottom is to have an embedded video that says, hey, guys, it's Ruben. I'd love to get your testimonial on how you're using Dubb. Click on the button right in this video to leave your testimonial. And then when they click on that, they go to a new Dubb page. And then on the bottom, it's video reply, one click, webcam, phone cam turns on. They can record that testimonial, one button send, and then it gets emailed to us as a team, uploaded to our Dubb account. We can download it as an MP4 file, and then we can use it as a
I'm
advertisement.
going to implement that this week.
Yeah. So am
I'll
I,
implement
actually.
it and I'll let you know how it works. So
Yeah. You know what? I'll do the same, because it's a great idea.
yeah,
I shouldn't give Michelle too much credit here, because I came up with the idea, but she catalyzed it.
Yeah.
And she had a problem that I was trying to solve. So I do have to give her some credit for this. But
that goes back to your point, though, Ruben. Without that feedback loop,
yeah,
without us being able to ask questions and get some answers back and putting stuff out in the world, and knowing that, okay, well, that didn't work. It's like, okay, this isn't quite, just like your unemployment thing. It's like, yeah, that's not the target market we need to go after. And I know, like, I was thinking about you the other day. It's like, if you took Dubb and you took LinkedIn and you took any enterprise sales team and you had a half-day session, I could promise you can move the needle in the sales process with that combination. So, and anybody wants to take me up on it, I'm more than happy to organize that and orchestrate that, or that part of the process, because I could promise you that my return on my investment, all of my business right now, all of my revenue could be directly related back to the relationships I've built over time using things like Dubb and relationship tools, not social media, not spamming everybody, and not it hasn't even been as much on email blasts or conversations that way. It's been on some wow, some video, some conversations, and it's all based on technology that you can actually achieve results with Dubb. So
okay, so here, that's interesting. Now here's the problem, and innovators like you and me, technologists, developers, we're constantly trying to figure out how to solve this problem. And I've spoken about this topic a couple of times, but it's worthwhile bringing up a few more times. So Clayton Christensen came up with this concept of the Innovators Dilemma. Okay. By the way, that's a very cool mug you got there. That's the Pirate Broadcast mug right there. And your camera takes a nice minute to zoom in on it and focus. That's cool. So the Innovators Dilemma is that when you bought a Prius 15 years ago, you got 6 miles on it. It was 45 grand, with nice seats and a stereo system, and it didn't do much for you. It didn't make much sense from an ROI perspective.
Right.
But as an early adopter, you were making a movement. You were being an influencer. You were getting people to actually believe in this idea of an electric car or a hybrid car in that. And, fast forward 5-10 years later, as that demand started to increase, as the technologists, as the innovators started to get all the kinks out of this technology, ultimately now, the Cybertruck has almost 500 miles on it, on that battery. That's incredible.
Insane.
It's unbelievable, right? So the problem, though, is that large corporations, they have a hard time adopting that innovation, that technology, because of the risk associated with it, because it's not proven, because they don't want to be the first people to do it. They don't want to put their jobs on the line. They don't want to risk something that's new, something that is evolving, that doesn't necessarily have a clear process yet, because of the risks associated with that. So unfortunately, this is why entrepreneurialism and small business and small agencies and people like us can build technology and kind of beat the elephant, because they're so delayed, and we can innovate and we can move fast and be agile. But that said, I feel like video and video communication, video sales is actually at that inflection point where now it should be adopted. People need to use it. I don't care. Use us, use our competitors. I don't really care. Just use it because you need it, So we think about this a lot, but we do notice a lot of pushback and a lot of longer sales cycles when it comes to enterprise and kind of general speculation, confusion. I'd love to get your take on that.
Well, having worked in enterprise and outside of enterprise, been a startup founder, a freelancer, almost every role you can imagine. There is a definite relationship between early adopters and smaller, more nimble companies compared to the enterprise and the rules and regulations and the risks that are taken. Because when you adopt a new technology in a large organization, it's not just the adoption of technology, it's the adoption of the culture, it's the adoption of the philosophy, it's the risk that is taken by implementing that stuff in an ecosystem that is probably graduated from years of experience and organizational changes and, tribal knowledge and all of these things. And it's really slow moving. And I hats off to people like, Benioff that was, early adopter in Salesforce in the SaaS world. That was really a new and emerging platform that you had to believe in. You had to have faith to continue down that path because there was no, predetermined, you had Oracle and you had some of these big iron IBM, things. And that's a shift, and I go back to the day where it was a System 36, IBM System 36, converting over to a client server environment. And that was a huge move for the organization at that point in time. The investment of change, the investment of the culture and saying, well, we're going to be doing things different. Well, people go in the office and all of a sudden things are different, or they're given a new tool to learn on top of their job. That's a cultural shift that I think a lot of organizations are unwilling to step into until somebody else has already beaten down the path and the pavement is clean.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so you're absolutely right. And at the same time, I know that the way technology is moving, that, how many Fortune 500 companies that were making billions of dollars back in 1950 still exist? It's like there's a reason they fail, and the failure is a result of not being able to move quickly enough and have first mover advantage. And that's the same thing we're talking about here with technology and being able to be, young and nimble and fresh and, creating these new ideas. And eventually they will bring on, and, you'll evolve, they'll evolve. And the people that are utilizing the tools that allow you their freedom are going to be the ones that are going to be forward thinking. They're going to be in the front lines. Tesla doesn't think about what he's competing against. He thinks about what he wants to do, and people that believe in that philosophy, it's kind of like there's a lot of people going to follow, and he's going to get beat up because he's the first person. However,
Right.
Now you look at the market compared to the Prius. Now all of a sudden, all of the big automakers are looking toward, getting in that whole space. And now they're talking about solid state batteries and, a lot of different new technologies that are going to increase and improve that longevity and that distance. And all of a sudden, whole industries are going to be disrupted. And this is the same thing that Dubb does in the small business world and the small teams, and the ability and opportunity to actually build a relationship when all of you are surrounded by noise. That video that lands in my inbox is different than, the 20 SEO salespeople that are blasting me from, who knows where, and it's different and it's unique. So that's what people are wanting. That's what people are craving, is the relationship that they can have with somebody that actually takes a moment and gives a moment of time to create a video. I think there's a huge advantage there.
Right. Well, I completely connect to that. I think that a lot of the risk involved in trying something new and trying to innovate and to adopt new technology and run the risk of failing in an effort. My definition of marketing is a series of efforts, most of which result in failure, and that the few that succeed are the scaled efforts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this idea of mitigating that risk when you take a chance, it's so easy now. There's all the friction is gone. Before, when IBM was being sold on a new technology, or someone was coming in as Cisco and saying, "Hey, we want you to adopt this tech," they'd say, "Look, you got to cut a check for $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a 6-month onboarding process. It's going to take us, 2 years to deploy this thing out, and you got to give us, an SLA that lasts for 5 years." The commitment was huge, and the risk was real. And now it's not like that. SaaS companies, they understand that they can't lock people into contracts. At least we're into that. We don't have annual contracts. I mean, maybe that changes for some economic reasons, but we don't have that, at the moment. And we're cool with people saying, "You know what, this is not for me," or "I'm going to move in a different direction." We rarely get that, but there's not a lot of friction now when people want to take a chance on tech. And I always encourage people, go fail fast. Just try something out, put in the effort that it deserves, see if it gets you results. And if it doesn't, then just move on to the next thing, because it's just not worth, lingering and waiting and hoping and, pontificating on something that never could be.
Well, I think more than that, and something a bigger cause. And I know you're probably motivated by some things and, hesitant about other things, but, like when Kevin Kelly wrote the white paper on 1,000 True Fans, you are doing something right now that is making a huge difference in people's lives. You are making a difference. You made a difference in my life. I can attribute some of the successes I've had in the last 6 months. I'm almost 100 episodes on Pirate Broadcast.
Wow, man, that's awesome.
Directly resulting from, I'm at 95, I think, today. So that's a direct result of my ability to see the vision for me with Dubb. And I taught podcasting back in 2014. I went, podcast movement and taught podcasting and workshops, and I've taught at university, and I've taught thousands of classes in different subjects. And it's like, this is a game changer as it relates to my life. So you've impacted my life, and I'm a fan. And if I can shout to the rafters with, my praise and my ability to use this, I know other people can, once they understand and see how it applies to their business. Game changer.
Amazing, man. Thank you so much for your time today and your insight and your wizardry. We really appreciate it. Let's put some socials for you on the screen here. RussJohns.com.
Yep. RussJohns.com.
Yeah. So please, everyone, go check out that website right now. And hopefully there's a retargeting pixel that gets planted on your browser. If not, go connect with him on social at Russ Johns.
Yeah. If you do a hashtag Pirate Broadcast, you'll find me.
Yeah. Well, that's branding right there, that you are making sure to include your hashtag on your efforts, because that way, what I love about that is that if you go to LinkedIn, or if you go to YouTube, or if you go to Facebook, definitely Twitter, if you click on that, or if you search for that, then we get to see your entire library of work just from one little search.
Yeah.
There's so many, not just what you posted, but what other people posted as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing, Ruben. I mean, we're in a place of change. We're in a place of, evolution here. And you have to adopt and you have to adapt, and those that are unwilling to may not succeed. They may fail. So, just that's my position, that's my philosophy, and that's my tail, and I'll sit on it.
Nice, man. Well, we'll leave it there. Russ Johns, we appreciate you. Thanks you so much. You are truly the best part of the Dubb ecosystem and community. Thank you, man.
Well, I look for future jam sessions and the opportunity to connect anytime, Ruben. Appreciate
Hey, man, as a drummer, I love the jam sessions.
it. Hats off and humble.